I think there's a common misperception that Oregon has just massive amounts of water. The reality is we have places that have quite a bit of water, and we have a lot of places in the state that have very little water. But most of the state is using surface water, which means that you rely on rainfall directly and snowfall directly. So in a drought year, you're more heavily impacted.
Water scarcity or shortages from a habitat or water quality perspective is something that folks that have been in the field of water resources have been aware of for a long, long time, but I think the general public has been less concerned about it or less engaged in it.
My own opinion is it's a disaster coming, because if we don't do improvements, continue to do improvements, the water situation is just going to become zilch. There isn't going to be anything.
Canals 100 years ago were the best way to convey water, and people hand dug canals that go for miles and miles and drop thousands of feet in some cases. Today we know that we can put pipe in the ground to convey that water.
Our district probably loses about anywhere from 15 to 20% of its water, and I'm probably underestimating that. Due to evaporation, seepage, we have a lot of spills. We have to pipe. We've got to get rid of our open systems. The canals have got to be a thing of the past.
A modern system can have significant environmental and conservation benefits. It can oftentimes produce green renewable power. It can reduce significantly energy use. And it can save time and money for the irrigators.
Last time we saw water levels like this was 1977. We dried up the stream and only delivered 10% water to our farmers. Now, since we've piped 50 of the 63 miles in the district, this year we were able to deliver between 20 and 40% water to our farmers.
If you've got a lot of fall in your system, you can pressurize your irrigation system. So it can eliminate pumps, which can save a tremendous amount of energy, and it can allow a farmer to convert to more efficient methods of application. So if they're flood irrigating, they could switch to center pivots, which could use a third the amount of water that they were using previously.
They've basically improved their farming skills and are raising higher value seed crops as well as hay and grains and livestock. Back in 1977, we completely dried up Whitechoose Creek, and today, because of all the piping, we are able to keep a minimum flow of 20 cubic feet per second. So it's quite a bit of water in the stream for fish.
So I think it's really possible to maintain agriculture in a basin like this and improve our habitat and fisheries populations.
When all is said and done, you have steelhead and salmon coming back to Whitechoose Creek, and the last time they ran through Sisters was in 1885.
You can also potentially generate energy. If you have enough fall in your system, if you have excess pressure, you can actually generate electricity off of that and sell that to the grid. We're fortunate to have two districts here in Hood River that generate power, and over the last 30 years they've generated nearly $90 million in revenue, and 100% of that stayed in this county. If you have a very modern system that is efficient with the water, it gives you resiliency. And so for most rural communities in the West, agriculture is one of the primary components to the economy. And so if you can give more secure water to your farmers, it allows them to grow more diverse crops. They have more security in knowing that they're going to be able to grow those crops efficiently and effectively and get them to market. When you're talking about systems that have 40 to 60 miles of open canal, it adds up to tens to potentially hundreds of millions of dollars to modernize their system. And so that cost is a burden that most districts just can't bear on their own.
There is no physical financial possibility that those 193 farms could have financed $50 million. It just wouldn't have happened.
Because when you think about it, if not everybody chips in, then the economy that sort of underlies everything in this area quickly unravels. So at what point do you say, you really ask, how broad do we need to cast the net to help fund these projects?
You got to work together. That's probably one of the biggest secrets you have. I would say that all the irrigation districts in this basin work very well with the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they also work with the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs. very closely. And I think that's part of the reason why we all are lucky and respect that we can actually work together to work. We see their needs for fish and they see our needs for agriculture.
Irrigation modernization is the single greatest opportunity for supporting agriculture, creating drought resilience, and creating extraordinary conservation benefits. It's incredible. We need your help. Get involved.